Yeah, like
Be seated, everyone. Please switch off your mobile phones. Thank you. very awesome morning to all the revered guests present here today. With a joyous heart, I extend a very hearty and warm welcome to our esteemed guest of honor, Lieutenant Colonel Kuldeep Selwal, SO School. Eminent judges, Honorable Principal Ma'am, respected Vice Principal Ma'am, passionate participants, and enthusiastic members of the audience. We are privileged to have you all with us today. Today marks the onset of the three-day mega event of the Central Command Cluster 1 Inter-Army Public School Debate and Quiz Competitions, hosted by Army Public School Clement under the aegis of Army Welfare Education Society. It includes the debate being held today, followed by the Hindi debate on 28 July and the quiz competition and culmination ceremony on 29 July. The time spent among trees is never wasted. Like music and art, love of nature is a common language that transcends all boundaries. A sapling might take time to grow, but is a promise that one day, despite all the time and effort, it will grow into a beautiful source of life. On that note, I now request our Honorable Principal Ma'am, Dr. Bindu Sharma, to kindly present eco greetings to our esteemed guest of honor, Lieutenant Colonel Kuldeep Selwal, SO. And also to our respective jury members, Dr. Ashima Shah, Mrs. Pragati Kapoor, and Ms. Divya Dubey. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Darkness cannot drive out blackness. Only light can accomplish so. And it is customary to light the lamp before any event. Lighting the lamp has been an integral part of our culture since time immemorial. For it is a universal symbol of truth, knowledge, and understanding, all of which are the objectives to today's competition. I would like to call upon our esteemed guest of honor, judges, team reps from participating schools, Honorable Principal Ma'am and Vice Principal Ma'am for lighting the lamp.
introvert version.
Thank you all. I now request our respected Vice Principal Ma'am, Mrs. Bhavna Bhargava, kindly deliver the welcome note.
Awesome morning. Awesome morning to each and everyone present here. On behalf of Army Public School, Clement Town, I am Mrs. Bhavna Bhargava, Vice Principal of the school, extend a very warm welcome to the honorable judges, teachers, student participants of all the 9 teams, organizers, and the audience that are here with us for the Central Command Cluster 1 Inter-Army Public School Debate and Quiz Competition. May you all give your best to the event and may you all enjoy the event. On this note, I hand over the mic to the students' comparer of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Dance is a form of art that is believed to be invented by the Almighty Himself. Ganesh Vandana is an invocation to Lord Ganesha, the Hindu god of all auspicious beginning. In Hindu poetry, the phrase Sri Ganesh signifies the beginning of all that is good and positive. On that note, I would like to invoke the Vignahata's blessings for the successful conduct of this 3-day mega event. Let us now witness the pure divinity exhibited out of the special dance performance on Ganesh Vandana.
performance was indeed mesmerizing. Debate is a medium through which a healthy democracy is built, as no one has a monopoly on being right. No one thing is completely right or completely wrong in a debate. It gives us a medium to weigh down the pros and cons. It is an art where the speaker's creativity, quick wits, logic, and linguistic skills are put to the test. On that note, I, on behalf of APS Clement Town, formally welcome you all to the Inter-Army Public School English Debate Competition and assure you a time of exuberance and excitement which will create a great learning experience.
Sustainable development is the pathway to the future we want for all. It offers a framework to generate economic growth, achieve social justice, exercise environmental stewardship, and strengthen growth. And it gives me great pride to share that Army Public School Clement Town has chosen Sustainable Development Goals as the annual school theme for the year 2022 to 23. Resonating with the annual school theme is the topic for today's debate competition. By 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in our seas.
Competitions are not only a platform to express one's talent, but also provide vivid and emotional spectacle. Judges are essential to take control of the events and direct them to fairly define winners, to encourage and motivate those who lost, and to make events potentially beneficial by their glorious presence. Today, we have with us some eminent personalities as the jury. I feel privileged to introduce our first judge, Dr. Rashi Mishra. Dr. Rashi Mishra has been working as a senior assistant professor at the School of Media and Communication Studies, Doon University since 2009. Earlier to academics, she was a copy editor at Hindustan Times and has also worked as a feature writer for the Times of India. Dr. Mishra has been trained for the Film Appreciation course at FTI Pune. She has directed 2 documentaries titled Swinging Silence and Orderly Disorder that were filmed at the film festival conducted by the Gyan Prasad, New Delhi. Besides, she is a skilled and enthusiastic educator and researcher with excellent interpersonal and organizational skills. Ma'am, we feel honored to have you here with us today.
And now, it's my privilege to introduce our second judge, Mrs. Pragati Kapoor. Mrs. Kapoor has been an educationist for more than 2 decades. She has been teaching English as a language and as a subject to senior grades. Mrs. Pragati Kapoor is a qualified journalist, teacher's trainer, and a life skill trainer. She is now freelancing in content writing and developing curriculum. Ma'am, it's a privilege to have you with us today.
I would now like to introduce our third judge for the event, Ms. Divya Dubey. Born and brought up in Dehradun, Ms. Divya Dubey is a teacher not only by qualification but also by choice. Her journey from school teaching to counseling students and parents on career choices was one full of excitement and passion. Her present role as senior coordinator and global ability faculty at Time Uttarakhand has established her as a master trainer and a mentor for hundreds of students preparing for various competitive exams. Heading the group discussions and interview section, at time, her aptitude and skills in understanding human psychology, clarity in communication, and public dealing have helped her recognized as an impactful teacher and counselor. Ma'am, it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Now, I would like to introduce you to our participating schools, which in a random order are as follows. APS Allahabad, APS Nehru Road, Lucknow, APS number 1 Jabalpur, APS Mao, APS Bareilly, APS Lansdowne, APS Danapur, APS Birpur, and APS Faizabad.
As the participants are not allowed to reveal their school name, each team is being represented with the name of a great personality from the literary world. The sequence for today's event has been decided through a draw of lots. I'll now request team members to kindly take position on my left as the team names are called out. Coming up first, we have Team Shane Austin.
In number 2, we have Team Chindwale.
The third team is Team Dehradun.
In number 4, we have Team Keats.
The fifth team of the event is Team R.K. Narayan.
At number 6, we have Team Ruskin Bond.
The seventh team is Team Sarojini Naidu.
At number 8, we have Team Shakespeare.
Last but not the least, we have Team Wordsworth. Please give them a big round of applause.
Rules and regulations for the conduct of today's English debate are as follows. First, each participating team is being represented by 3 students, of which at least one is a girl. Second, at no stage during the event, name of school or student will be announced. Participants will also not be allowed to give out their name or their name till the final result is announced. Confidentiality of the teams keeping short till the result is announced. Third, the name of the school will not be displayed. Instead, they will be represented by the names of famous personalities. Fourth, sequence of the teams for the competition has been decided through a draw of lots in presence of school reps or teacher in charge. Fifth, each speaker will get 4 minutes only to put forward his or her views. The first caution bell will be sounded at the end of 3.5 minutes and the final bell at the end of 4 minutes. The speaker will be penalized for exceeding 4 minutes. Speakers speaking less than 3 minutes will also attract negative marking. Marks to be penalized -5 points from the grand total of the speaker. 6. Speaker for the motion will speak first, followed by interjection, and then the speaker against the motion. 7. Each interjector will get 2 questions, one each to, for, and against. Marks will be awarded for the same as well. 8. Maximum 2 minutes per speaker are allowed for interjection. No cross-questioning will be allowed during interjection. 10. Reading from the written script is not permitted. Speaker will be penalized if he or she refers to the written script. Speakers will be penalized for using any other language other than English for English debate and Hindi for Hindi debate. Marks to be penalized -5 points from the grand total of the speaker. Use of mobile or digital by the participants during competition is strictly prohibited. 12. Injectors are permitted to take notes when the speaker is speaking. 13. No participating should reveal the name of his or her school while delivering the speech. 14. In the situation of tie among 2 teams for the winning position, only the scores of the speaker will be taken into consideration. Interjector score will not be calculated to break the tie and declare the winning team. 15. After compilation, result will be handed over to the principal of the school responsible for the event of cluster events, who will record the school name before the announcement of the result. 17. The judges, rep of participating school, and the principal of conducting school will sign on the final result. 18. The result will be shared with the participating schools on the same day. 19. The decision of the judges will be final and no representation will be accepted.
Note: in any case of grievances, complainant school is requested to appeal by filling the requisition form duly addressed to the principal of the organizing school within 5 minutes of the announcement of the final result. Jury members for the review of appeal: Dr. Bindu Sharma, Principal ABS Clement Town; Mrs. Bhavna Bhargav, Vice Principal ABS Clement Town. And Lieutenant Colonel Kuldeep Selwal, SSU. I hope rules and regulations are clear to all.
Now that we familiarize ourselves with the rules and regulations, without further ado, let us begin today's competition. I request our first judge, Dr. Rashi Mishra, to kindly take her seat at the judges' panel. Now I request Mrs. Pragati Kaur to kindly take her place. I request our third judge, Ms. Divya Dubey, to kindly join the other judges at the judges' panel. Thank you all. Let us begin with today's competition. Coming up first, we have Team Jane Austen. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to please come on the stage to express her views.
Your time starts now.
Imagine, it is 2050 right now. At Clement Beach, John goes fishing with his father for his new fishing boat. After trying for a very long time, all he gets is plastic. Am I really not getting any fish, Daddy? Cried John. This was heard by a mother fish and a young lady. A concerned mother says to her child, John's fishing bowl is much safer than this plastic-filled sea. Go, my little baby, set yourself up in a strap to save your life. I know, this may sound like a ridiculous story now, but this could be reality within a stone's throw. A very warm good morning to honorable judges, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I, representing Jane Austen, stand before you to express my views in favor of the motion. What legitimate benefits are we selfish humans getting out of these plastics that take so many lives? Ocean and seas are home to nearly 95% of all life and more than 50% are species of fishes. A solicitude presents Greenpeace that at least more than 80% of Earth's sea surface is polluted with plastic debris, with 165 million tons of plastics already inside, which is 25 times heavier than Great Pyramid of Giza. Ellen MacArthur Foundation report in collaboration with World Economic Forum clearly states, by 2050, we would have more plastic than fish in our sea. That is 987 million tons of plastic and just 832 million tons of fishes. There isn't a place on Earth's surface untouched by plastic. It's been floating on the surface of the sea, melting out of Arctic sea ice and sitting at the deepest corner of the ocean. It's in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat. Enough is enough. Believe it or not, the main motive for creation of synthetic plastic was as a replacement for elephant's ivory. What an irony that the substance created to help the natural world ended up doing far more damage than good. 56% of the planet's whales, dolphins, and porpoise species have already consumed plastic, and 48,000 fishes were found dead in a month in Australia. Not only this, our very own national aquatic animal is under constant threat. A pregnant Ganges river dolphin was found dead with 9 pounds of plastic bags in the bin. My dear friends, to understand my few famous words, you all need to have a powerful imagination. What are we really waiting for? Are we waiting for fishes with banners to protest? Or waiting for one of them to sit at some debate's news channel to shout, please let us live? Or else a fish to come here, stand and deliver a speech begging. But unfortunately, this cannot happen. How creative will people defend plastic? We exactly don't know about ocean and seas and quantity of fishes. Plastics can be recycled. And moreover, we have policies on plastic management. But the truth is that we are not even able to control plastic in less than 20% discovered water bodies, and death and extinction of fishes has not fallen deaf ears. Plastics, only 9% of plastics can be recycled, and when 10 policies are made, hardly 2 of them are followed. What is the need to flog a dead horse and what a wild goose chase? The bone of contention is plastic. The root of the disease is plastic. The end in the story is plastic. Thank you.
Very well spoken. I now request the interjector Team Wordsworth to put forward their question.
Dear Speaker, you have presented a well-defended argument, but I will still knock you down with the kinetic energy of my words. As you have mentioned so many data, one such data suggests that in the year 2021, there was 3.63 trillion tons of plastic, but in the year 2022, there was only 5.9 billion tons of plastic. Such a drastic change in just 1 year is good enough to bring you back to a positive note, don't you think so?
Thank you for the question, my dear friend. That was really an interesting question. Well, the data you're talking about, let me tell you that the plastic which was there, that was created a decade ago, still hunts us today, and slowly it is killing our marine life, and it might lead to our demise in the future. Men argue and nature acts. Every minute, 2 garbage trucks full of plastic are being dumped in our ocean. What does it show? It shows that there's a clear disconnect between awareness and the actions taken by people. Plastic, on the other hand, from every stage in its life cycle, like from production via consumption to disposal, everything is in hand of people. Everything is in hand of humans, and we humans are tended with our fascinating imaginations and our unwanted needs that we're using plastic so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I now request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Jane Austen to kindly come up onto the stage.
Your time starts.
Year 74,000 before Christ. Year 74,000 before Christ, maybe, was the darkest era for humanity. A super volcano eruption took place, and then the population of humanity got reduced only to a mere 1,000. If us human beings could survive the fury of nature, which was completely out of our hands, then we surely can, and we definitely will, end the threat of plastic spreading into our seas. Good morning, honorable judges, teachers, and all my dear friends. I stand before you to strongly oppose the motion by 2050 there could be more plastic than fish in our seas. In 1798, Thomas Malthus, a very renowned English cleric and economist, presented the idea of Malthusian trap, according to which the population of the world will increase to such an extent that the production will not be able to meet the needs of humanity. Is this anywhere near to the reality of our times? No, despite of being backed up by the world's most prominent publications, the Oxford University Press and the Encyclopedia Britannica, this theory completely failed. The same can happen with Ellen MacArthur Foundation's claim, which It states by 2050 there could be more plastic than fish in our seas, although it is being backed up by the UN. I say this not because I don't believe in UN's authenticity, but rather I am more faithful of humanity's collective intelligence and strong determination. Also, when it comes to this report, the British Broadcasting Corporation has pointed one major flaw in this report, which is the inaccuracy in the calculation of weightage of fish. If we cannot find the weightage of fish present in the sea by 2050, then how can we even make this claim? When it comes to plastic, we human beings have become more aware than ever. Goods where plastic was excessively used in the process of being replaced by eco-friendly products. Ooh, a very innovative and revolutionary idea has introduced edible packaging, which completely eliminates the needs of plastic bottles. Professor Raj Gopalan Vasudevan of India has introduced the idea of plastic roads, and India has already made 60,000 miles of plastic roads. Can we even imagine how much plastic we can recycle through these roads? Countries like India and China have already imposed bans on single plastics. There are underdeveloped countries in the world which are taking small steps, but these small steps will make a big change in the future. On the other hand, we have countries like Norway, which are making giant leaps. Norwegian companies such as Portbin and Trashcore have built insanely effective AI machines that can clean up the oceans in huge amounts. We have organizations like PETA, WWF, which are presenting the exposure of plastic to wildlife, and their efforts are not in vain. The Ocean Cleanup Project, a Dutch non-profit organization, aims to clean up to 90% of the surface waste. Where are we going? We are surely heading towards a bright future ahead of us. Thus, on the basis of our facts, I firmly believe that humanity will surely create a better future where we manufacture less plastic, recycle more and more plastic, and thus not have any plastic to dump into the oceans, and never let the possibility by 2050 there could be more plastic than fish in our seas become a reality. I say this because success is the combination of small steps taken day in and day out, and humanity shall be successful. Thank you.
Thank you for expressing your views. The interjector from Team Wordsworth is requested to put forward their question.
Dear Speaker, I don't think the armor you used is strong enough to survive the strike of my sword. If you think plastic can be recycled, then that's not it. Plastic does not recycle, it downcycles. And even if it recycles, virgin plastics are added to cope up the quality degradation. Is this how seas will survive the fishes in the ocean?
A very good question you have asked, my friend. However, you have missed some very important observations which are needed to be made when we discuss about plastic. Plastic is being recycled on a very huge scale by different countries. And on the other hand, when it comes to reducing plastic usage, we are in the process of finding alternatives against plastic. Bioplastics have already been invented. Bioplastics are good alternatives of plastic which decompose easily in comparison to plastic. So we are heading in the right direction, my friend. And when it comes to recycling, a country like India could recycle 5.5 million metric tons of plastic in the year 2021. Germany could recycle 60% of its plastic in the year 2017 itself. Can we even imagine what will happen when all the countries of the world will come together and recycle plastic in huge amounts? My friend, we won't have much plastic to dump into the oceans, and we will get better use of plastic. And by that time, we will surely create more and more alternatives like bioplastics. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time for our second team, Team Jumvaleri. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to kindly come and express their views. Your time starts now.
Microplastic embedded deep in the Arctic ice. The amount of plastic in the Atlantic Ocean tripled since 1960. 3.5 million tons of plastic plastic waste is generated annually by India alone. Alarming, isn't it? A very good morning to one and all present here. Today, I'm here to express my views in support of the motion. By 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in our seas. Humans have been polluting ocean for the last 4,000 years. The most hazardous pollutant being plastic. Plastic was invented as the greatest boon for mankind, but we humans misused it and made it a devastating product for the environment. Worldwide use of plastic has increased 20 folds in the past years, and it is expected to increase by 40% in the next 10 years. Who would deny the fact that out of 300 million tons of plastic produced, 40 million ends up in the ocean? Over 90% of the plastic in the Indian Ocean is bought by 10 rivers alone. In India, the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra drain the most plastic into the ocean. My friends would be aware that plastic makes up 80% of all marine debris. Currently, there are 5 trillion pieces of plastic comprising 2.4 million cigarette butts, 1.7 million food wrappers floating in our ocean, paving way for giant plastic islands. These microplastics get swallowed by thousands of seabirds, sea turtles, and other marine animals, endangering the human health, the wildlife, and the ecosystem. Scientists estimate that 60% of seabird species could have eaten plastic, and the percentage will rise to 99% by 2050. The United Nations has predicted that the marine life will be irreparably destroyed by 2050. 40% packaging of FMCGs is made of single-use plastic, and disposal of single-use plastic is infeasible. It takes around 500 to 1,000 years for single-use plastic to decompose, and about 91% of plastic ever produced is not recycled. So, if it can't be reduced, reused, recycled, then the production should be restricted. Plastic dead zones have placed our once flourishing ecosystem on the brink of collapse. The United Nations Environment Programme Plastic Report 2021 states that it is imperative that the impact of plastic pollution be addressed. Components would have mentioned that the government, the NGOs, have introduced a number of projects to clean up ocean. But let me apprise you, the ocean cleanup first 2 pilot projects failed to gather trash and are years behind schedule. The work done by NGOs is also negligible. I would like to draw your attention to another glaring fact that more than 1 garbage truck of plastic is thrown out into seas per minute. Need I say more? Our oceans must be protected. This plastic threat makes us all still at a bleak future, and its impact shall remain for centuries on our future generation. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I request the interjector from Team Jane Austen to kindly put forth the question.
You spoke well and flawlessly, my dear friend, but still, I have a point to raise. I can understand that plastic is a threat to seas and its biodiversities, but major steps are taken to resolve this issue. Companies are recycling plastic from seas itself to manufacture goods like sunglasses, backpacks, and even furniture. Famous brands like H&M and Adidas, who have millions of customers worldwide, are also collaborated with this initiative. Don't you think these steps are definitely going to stop the possibility that by 2050 we will have more plastic than fishes in our sea? Thank you for the question, my friend. But to how much plastic can be recycled? And it took names of companies like H&M who are working hard to reduce plastic waste. But do you really think these are working hard to
which is not recyclable. And you made us aware with the 0.001% of the story. But I made you all aware with the masses. Currently, there is 364 trillion tons of plastic. And it is expected that the amount of plastic will rise to 1.3 billion tons in future. And the steps taken to reduce plastic waste seems to be pleasing for our ears, but efforts are yet to be made to reduce plastic. These policies and government efforts seem to be on paper, but substantial effects are yet to be made on the ground. Yet, at last, I would just like to say that if we can't solve the problem of this plastic epidemic in the past 100 years of its existence, then how can you ask me to say that the plastic epidemic will be cured by 2050? Thank you.
Thank you for expressing your views. Now I request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Chumpaleri to kindly come upon the stage. The participant is kindly requested to start only after I say it. And your time starts. Now.
Working apart, we humans are a force powerful enough to drive our planet to destruction. And surely, working together, we are strong enough to save it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am here to vehemently oppose the motion that by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in the seas. While it is true there's more than 8 billion tons of plastic contaminating not just the oceans, but the entire earth in some form or the other. But the fact still remains that we humans have set grander milestones in the journey towards a plastic-free future. For the first time in human history, a group of Dutch scientists have been able to collect debris from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, triple the size of France. I'd like to draw the attention of the August gathering towards the fact that the UNEP Plastics Treaty will play a crucial role in reducing the volume of plastics entering the water and also urge a shift towards a more circular economy based around reducing and reusing the produced commodities. This will reduce the volume of plastics entering the water up to 80% by 2040 itself. In addition, it will also save the governments worldwide a sum of $70 billion, create 700,000 additional jobs, and incorporate 20 million garbage pickers in the formal sector, thereby helping minimize the solid waste transport costs. The government of India has constituted a special task force for the elimination of single-use plastic and the implementation of plastic-based waste management rules. It has also imposed a wide ban on the manufacture, use, sale, Bharat Abhiyan, Section 5 of the Environment Act, and the Plastic Waste Management Amendment 2021 all play a crucial role in reducing the ocean and sea pollution. The reuse of rigid plastic packaging material has been mandated by the government to reduce the amount of fresh plastic being used for packaging. Over 250 global groups such as H&M, L'Oreal, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and Nestle have all committed to reduce the amount of plastic packaging under the New Plastics Economy Global Commitment. The UN Global Clean Seas campaign has formulated its first marine litter policy, and the same policy has been implemented in India as well. Also, as the crisis of plastic pollution rises, the G20 countries have come together to announce new action plans. A number of non-government organizations such as Bluetopia, Blue Ocean Watch, and Break Free from Plastic all envision a plastic pollution-free future. Matter of fact, Plastic Odyssey is converting plastic waste into resources and is developing small recycling facilities that are accessible to all to cure the ocean pollution. The Plastic Challenge Hackathon 2021 encouraged entrepreneurs and students of higher education institutes to develop innovative ideas to cure plastic pollution. It is this awareness that keeps us optimistic and confident of our efforts. In the end, I would like to conclude by saying that be part of the solution, not part of the pollution, and I assure you that by 2050, there will be more fish than plastic in the ocean. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I request the interjector from Team Jane Austen to kindly put forward.
You almost impressed me by your utopian vision, my dear friend. Although it is true that theories are not proven facts, but this theory has been supported by worldwide trusted organizations, professional environmentalists, and geologists. How many of these people are you going to say are wrong? Are all of these organizations, according to you, spreading wrong information? Are you really going to be this obstinate for the selfish humans who are still dumping plastics in the sea, who are still generating more and more plastic, knowing it would take millions of years to disintegrate? How would you defend these selfish motives?
Thank you for the question, my friend. My friend, you say that all the theorists who are making the theories are not wrong. But then are the 360,000 recruits and 30 governments that have gotten on board with the ocean cleanup projects, are they wrong? Is the 5.5 million tons of plastic recycled every year by the 7,500 recyclers in India alone wrong? My friend, let me tell you, let me remind you and the August gathering that awareness, the awareness that has transcended all boundaries, and the awareness that is at an all-time high will drive the motion, not a bunch of theories and speculations made by a bunch of people in a closed room filled with air conditioners. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder, the speakers are supposed to start speaking after I say go. Now it's time for the third team, teacher Dehradun, and I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to kindly come forward. Your time starts now.
May come as a shock, but at least 14 million tons of plastic end up in the ocean every year. Plastic makes up 80% of all the marine debris found, from surface water to deep sea sediments. More than 1 million seabirds and 1 lakh marine animals die from plastic pollution every year. 100% of baby sea turtles have plastic in their stomach. A split of respected judges, teachers, and my worthy colleagues. Today I am going to speak for the motion. Experts say that by 2050 there will be more plastic than fish in sea, or perhaps only plastic left. Others say that 90% of coral reefs may be dead. Waves of mass extinction may be unleashed, which would leave our seas overheated, acidified, and lacking oxygen. And it is easy to forget that 2050 is not that far off. The United Nations warns that the marine life will be irreparably destroyed. Why? Let me tell you. Because of increasing plastic demand and low cost of production, plastic producing industries are producing huge amount of plastic each day. Added to it, low levels of recycling and poor waste management. Let it sink in our minds for a moment. Now, plastic is not going away from our lives. It is unfortunately forever. Huge plastic islands float on top of the ocean surface. Beaches around the world are increasingly littered with plastic rubbish. Even in the Arctic. This may sound alarming, but most of the plastic in the ocean is out of sight. Plastic pollution has even been found in the Mariana Trench, the deepest point of the ocean. Sea life chokes on plastic rubbish or gets tangled in it, often causing a painful, slow death. Once the plastic debris reaches the sea, the sunlight, wind, and wave action break the plastic into microplastic, which now has got into every nook and corner of the globe. All commitments, efforts, and actions being taken by countries and regions today, in reality, have very limited effect on ground. The world would only see a limited amount of reduction of plastic discharge into the ocean, only 7% annually by 2040, if we continue with this business as usual. Despite the global momentum around the problem of plastic pollution, there has been no dedicated international agreement specifically designed to prevent plastic pollution throughout its life cycle. Has not the absence of global momentum hampered the ability of countries to implement effective measures? What did we do when a grey whale died after being stranded near Seattle with more than 20 plastic bags in its stomach? Nothing. What did we do when a harbour seal pup was found dead on a Scottish island with its intestine full of plastic wrappers? Nothing.
Thank you. I now request the interjector from Team Jane Austin to come up and put forward their question. Sorry, Team Jumpa Nari. Interjector from Team Jumpa.
Good morning, everyone. Very well spoken, my friend. As an old adage says, as you sow, so shall you reap. It is the humans who have driven our planet to the brink of collapse. Don't you think it's hypocritical of us to say that we are doomed instead of striving towards a better future?
Thank you for your question. Like this. A person went to a fish and asked for a plastic. And the fish seller replied, it's already inside. So, what I'm saying is that there have been multiple organizations, camps, campaigns, laws, but what impact did they leave? I don't see a visible change. Honestly, are we really walking the talk? It's just on paper. On the other hand, plastic is predicted to triple in the next 20 years. So I'm very sorry to say, but marine life is on its way to extinction. Thank you.
Thank you. I now request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Dehradun to express their views.
Civilization will end within the next 30 years unless immediate action is taken against the problems facing mankind. Unquote, Howard biologist George Wall during the Earth Day event of the year 1970. Good morning, everyone. Many such doomsday predictions have been made in the past. And have they materialized? No, not because they were false, but because human beings have paved the path and have overcome the problems that were the very precursors of these doomsday predictions. Has not the world put an indomitable spirit to survive? Allow me to present to you some very positive efforts being taken by the Clean Sea campaigns. The global governance of plastic is improving through the United Nations Environmental Programme launched in 2017 to help curb the flow of marine litter and plastic waste. Since then, 62 member states covering 60% of the world's coastlines have joined these campaigns with ambitious pledges and commitments. All around the world, legislators are increasingly adopting public policies, laws, and ordinances to reduce plastic pollution. Are you aware that in India, the Ministry of Environment has launched the mascot Prakriti to spread greater awareness amongst the masses? It is aimed to bring about behavioral changes through community cleanup. The innovative solutions to recycle plastic are commendable. Youth of today are the pillars of tomorrow. Therefore, the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge has evoked the spirit of the youth to equip them to be citizen scientists and motivating them to put their knowledge into action. If you want to see the future, you must look into the past. Now let us all remember that all rivers flow into the sea. Therefore, if you clean a river, we naturally clean the seas. In 2010, Ganga was one of the most polluted rivers in the world. In 2014, the Indian government instituted a national mission to clean Ganga. Today, Ganga has more dissolvable oxygen and lesser plastic than before. Does this not indicate that if mankind is made aware of the plastic pollution, there is hope for the future? The debate on climate change, which is a worldwide phenomenon, began almost 3 decades ago. And a lot of advancements have been made in this field since then. Think about it. This is not easier to battle plastic pollution than climate change. Plastic, which is a visible thing, you can see it on the beaches, and it is not hard to understand that it is alien and that it does not belong there. Consider, we, the young people, are discussing and raising the awareness of plastic pollution. Is this not a step in the right direction? If we agree with the statement that by 2050 there would be more plastic than fish in the sea, then are we not writing off our own future? Are we not giving up? And is that right? Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. So therefore, it is you and I who will make this change and make this world a better place. So come, let us have a date with the ocean and wear a plastic turtle badge. Thank you.
Very well spoken. I now request the interjector from Team Chulfaneri to put forward their question.
Good morning, everyone. Very well spoken, my friend. You spoke about the government and UN policies that are going to clean oceans and make it plastic free. It sounds so pleasing to the ears, but let me tell you, there have been no substantial figures to justify a case regarding plastic reduction. What is your take on this?
Thank you for your question. Tiny drops make the mighty ocean. And we have been making ceaseless efforts on the world's coastline on a constant note. Right? Sustainable development, sustainable management, and by reducing plastic debris. You know what we have been taught since students? We have been taught to reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse plastic. Does this not indicate that if we as students can have so much development, there is hope for the future? And should we show a blind eye to these efforts? I strongly believe that these efforts are changing the tide. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time for a vote team keys. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to kindly express their view. Kindly start when I say, and your time starts. Now,
You wouldn't think you would be an ocean, would you? But we will do it one day. That's how negligent we are. Honorable members of the jury and my fellow participants, a very warm good morning to one and all present here. Today, I stand before you to speak in favor of the given topic, that is, by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in our ocean. Plastic is everywhere nowadays. People are using plastic endlessly just for their comfort. However, no one is realizing how it is harming our planet. Plastic is one of the most used substances. It is seen everywhere, from supermarkets to common households. Why is that? The use of plastic is in rise because it's cheaper than paper, cloth, or any other alternatives. But plastic is a non-biodegradable material, and we cannot dissolve plastic in our water or land. It remains forever. The year 2050 has been predicted by some to be a bleak year for the ocean. Experts say that by 2050 there could be more plastic here. Others say 90% of our coral reefs may be dead. Waves of mass marine extinction may be unleashed, and our seas may be left acidified, overheated, and lacking oxygen. Mass production of plastic, which began just 6 decades ago, has accelerated so rapidly that it has created 8.3 billion. This kind of increase would break any system that was not prepared for it, and that's why we have seen leakage from our global waste system into the ocean. 500 billion plastic bottles are used every year, meaning there are 66 times as many bottles as there are humans on the planet. Studies say all the plastic was bagged up and arranged across all of the world's shorelines, and we could create a veritable plastic barricade between ourselves and the sea. You can't manage what you don't measure. It's not just that we make a lot, it's that we make more year after year. The studies found half of all the plastic manufactured become trash in less than a year. Most of it is plastic packaging. Usage of plastic in packaging medicines will pack the earth medically unfit for any life. It is spreading like a disease which is turning out to be incurable. We recycle just 14% of our plastic packaging. By 2025 itself, there will be 1 ton of plastic for every 3 tons of fish. It is crazy to think. And it isn't only plastic. Chemical runoff is turning the oceans to acid, killing off species. But we are so far from it that we don't see what's happening underneath. 70% of the trash sinks to the bottom. So why is that out? Surfing and sunning, playing and running on the beaches, the pollution is reaching a level that's critical. Plastic is the most destructive weapon other than a nuclear bomb or an atom bomb. Its impact shall remain for centuries in the future generation. Only we human make waste that the nature can't digest. If this continues with the same pace as now, then probably this is not hard to conclude that plastic will occupy oceans more than the marine life in future. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
thank you. Now I request the interjector from Team J.K. Rowling to kindly put forth their question.
A very good morning to all. Well spoken, my friend. I was listening rather intently and I have a question to ask. You mentioned that plastic is a cheaper alternative to paper, but most of the international brands these days have been adopting the use of paper bags. Many NGOs have been set up for ocean cleanup like the Blue and Oceana. They made immense progress in cleaning up the oceans in the past few years. From world leaders and students all around the world, even the common man and everyone present here have come together and are making an impact. So, you still think there'll be plastic by the oceans, in our oceans by 2050?
Firstly, thank you for your question. And we all are concerned about plastic, but see, you are sitting on plastic. You are using plastic bottles. The button on your shirt is of plastic only. We all are concerned about plastic and still we are using plastic, then what don't know the disadvantages of plastic, he will use plastic. And there's a report by Washington Post. It also states that usage of plastic has increased 20-fold in the past 50 years and it is expected to double in the next 20 years. So we are using plastic. Thank you.
Thank you, very well expressed. Now I request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Keats to kindly come and express their views. You are requested to speak only after I say the word now. Okay? And your time starts now.
Such a future, however, is not yet written in stone. A healthier, more whole, and maybe even more profitable, but the ocean is still relevant. Honorable members of the jury and my fellow participants, a very warm good morning to one and all present. Today, I stand before you all to speak against the motion that is, by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in our seas. Before starting, I would like to put forward the fact that we humans are living in the 21st century with the technology advancing at a rapid rate. If human resources can be utilized aptly with these technologies, we can easily eradicate this evil from our ecosystem. Plastic will be the main ingredient of all our grandchildren's system. Since the prediction is made, there is always a possibility for correction. Our innovators, scientists, and students from different sectors are coming forward to take initiatives against plastic. There are various references where people across the globe have turned up with these innovations. For example, an Indian-based company is converting plastic bottles and bags into shoes. A Cambodian resident has completely built their school out of trash, and Israel has come up with an alternative to plastic which is completely biodegradable. Isn't it remarkable? These efforts are not just understatements. Governments from all across the globe are coming together to take initiatives against plastic. Banning of plastic, innovative fundings, awareness camps are some of the many initiatives that are helping this problem from the government side. Globally, plastic has always been a debatable topic. Ocean Summit 2022 was also held in the interest of sustainable development of oceans. Last studies show that the amount of plastic that is recovered and recycled from the oceans is much more than what's in it. If you possess a holistic approach, you will be able to witness the impact of these efforts. Plastic for sure is a problem, but humans belong to the species of Homo sapiens. I would like to tell everyone that Earth was earlier populated with many different species. Homo sapiens, Homo denisovans, Homo erectus, Homo neanderthals, etc. Out of which only Homo sapiens have been able to survive in day. It is because the humans have the capability of adapting more than Darwin's theory. I say that humans will come up with a way to maneuver this problem, as that is what we have been doing since inception. The ozone layer, which once was depleting and had impending threats to human life, was recovered by taking necessary action in time. Similarly, we can deal with the problem of plastic as well. We all know that there is an alternative to everything, but not our mother Earth. Let me ask you all a question. As you all are aware that we are here for a purpose. So will you give the maximum efforts from your side to help fight this problem? If your answer is yes, which I think it is, then I think our future is in safe hands. If you believe in humanity and the purpose of your existence, then you will definitely agree on what I want to tell you. We humans won't succumb to a non-living entity. On that note, let us end.
Thank you. Now I request the representative from Team Dehradun to kindly put forward the question.
Very good morning to all. Well spoken, my friend. I have a question to ask. You've mentioned that many world leaders, students, and scientists from all around the world have come together and they are inspiring the masses. Even after so many attempts at recycling and reusing plastic, there is more plastic in our seas now more than ever. And the amount of plastic production is predicted to double in the next 20 years. So despite all the efforts taken, why is there no visible change?
First of all, thank you for your questions. And the thing that I stated in my debate, since it is a prediction, there is always a possibility of correction. The government from all across the globe are taking initiatives against plastic. As I mentioned in my debate about the technology, it's not just in the sector of plastic, but in the sector of everything. So government is trying to make use of these technologies to produce these innovations at a global level. Government will come up with a way to maneuver this problem, as that is what we are going to do.
Thank you for expressing your views. The audience, let's cheer the participants and give them a round of applause. At number 5, we have Team Art and Alignment. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the movement to line it up on the stage. The participant is requested to kindly start up an essay. And your time starts now.
Plastic, both a groundbreaking invention and an affliction on our planet. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Plastic is one of the most pervasive human-made materials that we have. So much so that it's safe to say that every bit of plastic ever made still exists. Every year, millions of pounds of plastic ends up in the world's oceans. This accumulated plastic is nothing short of a global catastrophe. Plastic is an insurgent, not only occupying the immensities that our oceans have to offer, but also eliminating marine life and wiping out species as it goes along. At this rate, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in our seas. So what makes this mammoth invention that revolutionized the way we live into such a threat? What makes it lethal? Let me draw your attention to statistics related to global plastic disposal and consumption. Worldwide plastic production reached an all-time high of 368 million tons in 2019, which, brace yourselves, is equivalent to one garbage truck every minute. At the risk of sounding cynical, I do need to add that this number will go up to 4 garbage trucks per minute by the year 2050. From the equator to the poles, yes, you heard me right. From the equator to the poles, not 1 square mile of open ocean surface anywhere on this earth is free of plastic pollution. It makes up 80% of all marine debris. Micro and nanoplastics are easy for marine life to ingest accidentally. Thousands of aquatic animals die grisly deaths due to consuming or getting entangled in said plastic. Large amounts of plastic has also been found in the habitats of critically endangered species. The most alarming thing, however, is the strong link between plastic pollution and dying coral reefs. Bacteria can piggyback onto plastic and colonize it. If this pathogenic bacteria were to attack the coral, there is absolutely nothing that can be done about it. Fish also ingest plastic, which cause intestinal injury and ultimately lead to death. Many of these species that humans eat prey on lancet fish, meaning plastic is likely finding its way up the food chain and onto our dinner tables. If this still doesn't seem to be an immediate concern, plastic is not only limited to the marine ecosystems. A recent study found that humans eat 5 grams of micro and nanoplastics every every week. From the most remote depths of the ocean to the deepest section of the human lung, plastic seems to have invaded every bit of our existence. Plastic is ubiquitous in everything but human utility. So trying to do away with it completely is not even close to a viable option. Let me conclude by saying that the threat that plastic poses is pertinent and expanding by the minute. With the seemingly immortal nature of plastic, it's safe to say what we have on our hands is a global crisis.
Thank you. I request the interactive from each to kindly put forward their question.
Well spoken, my friend. As you are justifying that there would be more plastic than fish in the seas by 2050, don't you think that it's an exaggeration or based on hypothetical estimate? As the question arises, how many fish are there in the ocean? It is as wide a guess as how many stars are there in the galaxy. The government and countries all across the globe are committed to the cause of eradicating plastic. The UN also committed to achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Directly or indirectly, the whole world is committed to the cause of cleaning up the earth. We have conquered the universe, so don't you think we can counter this predicament?
Thank you for your question. This is simple mathematics, okay? So let's you and me figure it out. The measures taken to curb plastic pollution in proportion to the rate of plastic production, consumption, and disposal is negligible. So the kind of impact that you're hoping for will take at least 200 years. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of time. 2050 is only 30 years. So your claim that this threat can be neutralized is frankly preposterous. But just for the sake of this argument, let's say that we were able to clean up oceans. Even then, there is absolutely nothing that can be done about the micro nanoplastics that are already deeply embedded in our bodies and in the bodies of marine creatures. Without demerits these projects and the efforts that these projects are making at a global stage, unfortunately, there is a massive gap between the intent of these projects and the ultimate application. There is a massive, in comparison, if we were to look at the black and white statistics and the ground reality, it just proves to be impractical and dysfunctional at best. So I'm not being a pessimist when I say that there will be more plastic than fish in our seas by the year 2050. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, very well expressed. I now request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team RK99 to kindly express the view. The participant is requested to only start after I say now. And your time starts now.
Maya Angelou said, and I quote, "What you're supposed to do when you don't like a thing is change it. If you can't, change the way you think about it." Unquote. A very good morning to the honorable jury, respected teachers, my dear friends, and my worthy audience. At the outset, as a speaker against the motion, I'll be modest to confess that the present stage of a predicted doomsday puts me into a classic David versus Goliath fight, with my worthy opponents armed with the moral statistics at the other end. Yet, to entice these meritorious nodes and convert them into a cluster of optimistic individuals, generating positive vibe. Pollution is catastrophic, damaging, and detrimental. Rightly so, let me not contest the fact that plastics not pernicious. It's indeed a pity that mankind has moved such a long way, squandering the resources of nature and befooling the environment just because of lack of foresight, or avarice, or sensibility. In fact, when Reynolds introduced one of the earliest plastic bags in 1932, they proudly called it the sack of the future. Because these were meant to be an alternative to paper bags, which would have meant selling more trees. But when the son of the founder was asked today, he claims the very idea of people throwing ignorant the follies over centuries. But this can't be done overnight. To assure my friends that we definitely have a pristine 2050 where the ocean looks blue and marine life proliferates, let me draw the attention of the global effort towards this aquatic panacea. Netherlands and Ecuador have installed the Great Bubble Barrier. Australia's season project has been incorporated by 15 countries, and each season removes 1,300 tons of plastic every year. 500 tons of plastic are removed by a recent startup called Ocean Cleanup. 50 tons of plastic are removed every day and also recycled. 1,000 interceptors in the world's most polluted rivers will scoop up millions of tons of plastic, which is a gargantuan task. Out of the world's 20 major rivers, 7 are provincial, which means we are major stakeholders. Rightly so, the Namami Gange program has completed 146 estimates, cleaned 67 parts, renovated 265 ports, and river stretches at 21 locations have been cleaned too. There are many more such innovations worldwide to fight the spread of cement. Waste shark drones are an example, which remove 500 tons of plastic annually and have been incorporated by 92 countries. Plastic washing machines, edible containers made of barley, recyclable bags, microplastic dissolving technology, and the list is growing every day. The attempt is to make not only the oceans and seas, but also the land a plastic-free zone. Well, friends, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. If you're convinced, let's go out today for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. I request the representative from Team Keats to answer the question.
Well spoken, my friend. But are you sure about your speaking? Are you sure that you are convinced about your speaking? Just look around yourself. There is plastic everywhere. Just look at yourself. You are possessing a watch. It must contain some component of plastic as well. There is a plastic bottle in front of the juries as well. And recently it was discovered in human placenta. According to COP26 meeting UNFCCC 2021, it was stated that we cannot have a major impact on climate adversely affected due to the plastic pollution till 2030. So, how you are going to explain the indirect invisible effect of plastic-based pollution? Thank you.
So that's a very pertinent question. What I'd like to say is that collective willpower has no boundaries. First, come to the next point. Well, the very statement made in the World Economic Forum back in 2016 has been quite old because the world has moved very much ahead since then. Right in 2016, there were 2 breakthroughs. A plastic-eating enzyme discovered in Japan, which is Idenella shikansky, and which of those particular areas to have actions and that is the same. Well, the aim is to mitigate production right at the grassroots level. And the existing plastic needs to be brought into circulation with maximum utilization. There are innumerable ways, like plastic roads, eco-bricks, fiber-reinforced plastic sheds used by the Indian Army. Well, an initiative in Spain which uses 40,000 hectares using greenhouses of plastic and many more. It's time constraints that I can't list out all of the measures. Talking of plastic that already exists, like in the case of my watch, we need to recycle this with maximum use. Use the product maximum number of times. When Valve introduced plastic, they wanted people to use them for at least 31 times. But do we? That's where we are wrong. So if you see, the world is doing a lot to combat this crisis. What's needed now is some initiative from each one of us. It's you and me now who can make a better change. Because together, we go far. I hope that was all good.
Thank you very much. I now request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion from the Trusted Board to come up and put forth their views. The speaker is requested to start only when I say now. And your time starts now.
Necessity is the mother of invention, and invention is the backbone of development. Also, morning to everyone present here. Today, I stand here to speak for the motion that by 2050 we could have more plastics than fish in the ocean. Plastic pollution is one of the major environmental concerns today. Unrecycled plastics and certain landfills, oceans, waterways, and even in our food. Since the beginning of plastic industry, the use of plastics has exploded. Around 8.3 billion tons of plastics have been created by humans since then, and out of which only 9% is recycled. An estimate suggests that there are 5.5 trillion pieces of plastics lying in the ocean, and 13 million tons are added every year. Such enormous amounts of plastic have a devastating effect on nature as well as marine life. Plastic can take decades and even centuries to decompose, but it more quickly turns into microplastics, which makes the condition even worse. They are less than 500 pieces of plastic, and it is pain to handle them. Fortunately, my government has taken steps against plastic pollution. They have banned the single-use plastics. Then we have the recycled plastic rules. Many NGOs are working against it, and even the individuals are putting their efforts to reduce plastic consumption. But the governments are failing. My dear opponents, the alternatives of plastics are either costly or create more harm than to reduce it. Coming on to recycled plastic roads, the environmentalists have raised red flags, arguing that when these roads tear down, it releases microplastics which are toxic for animals and even for humans. And even if the engines are working really hard, but tons of plastics are added every day to the ocean. Those who say against the motion, I would like to ask them that even after so many efforts made by the government, made by the NGOs and by individuals, why is the plastic waste still increasing? Why, even after the ban, plastic is easily available and still used by people? Well, the truth is that plastic has become an integral part of our life, and no matter how much ban this government put, plastic is very necessary for a common individual. From small sharpener to huge car, from containers to kitchen to bikes outside, from a pen in your bag to a phone in your pocket, everything contains plastic. Even those who are listening to me are having plastic bottles on their table. Can you imagine how silly it is to replace all these items by some biodegradable material? Let's take an example. Bangladesh was the first country to ban plastic in 2002. But ironically, in the last 15 years, the per capita consumption of Bangladesh tripled to 9 kg in 2020 from 3 kg in 2005. Let's take an example of global warming. We had many debates, many policies, many steps were taken against it, but still, problem persists. By this, I conclude that if it continues, then it is for sure that by 2050, we will have more plastics than fish in the ocean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Adina Rana to ask the question.
Commendable delivery, Mr. Speaker. But I do need to tell you that the USA Today News Agency reports that the aforementioned startup, Ocean Cleaner, deploying interceptors and huge trawl nets, has managed to clean the Great Pacific garbage patch at the rate of 50 tons in a day. They also mentioned that the garbage patch has around 18 tons of plastic. You do the math, because I think that we can manage to clean all of these patches in less than 7 to 10 years. So why don't we capitalize on these transoceanic giants accumulating plastic waste for us to collect easily?
Very good question. I would like to tell you by stating a quote by Albert Einstein. He said that world is not destroyed by those who do evils. It's destroyed by those who watch them but do nothing. Even the many governments have taken steps, many NGOs are working really hard, but where are the results? We made predictions based on our result, and if the people are not cooperating, how can we eliminate the plastic pollution? And coming on through, we people have the habit of seeking someone else for help, and if this continues, then I think it will continue to increase the population no matter how much waste they eliminate, but plants are added every year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now request the speaker speaking against the motion to take the podium. Your time starts now.
A very awesome morning to one and all present here. Respected Judy, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I stand here to put forward my views against the motion that is, by 2050, there would be more plastic than fishes in our seas. Is that so? Oh, well, let me answer this. The statement is not a fact, but a prediction. And predictions are made looking at the past year trends. It changes with change in present adaptation. So this prediction might not hold. See all the way back in 60s? No, not those 60s. Back in the 1860s, a lot of everyday items were made up of ivory and by harming many other animals. Then this seven-letter word, PLASTIC, was created in order to protect the natural world from the destructive forces of human. No doubt, the world has a plastic problem and it's snowballing, but so is public awareness and action. You can't bring the change just by dreaming and criticizing it. You have to jump in and swim. UK so far has driven its plastic sale down by 86%. Major airlines like Alaska, American, and Delta have banned single-use plastic, and which led to eliminate pounds of plastic each year. India too has led to recycle and reuse more than 60% of its plastic waste. Many cities like New York, Seattle, and other cities in California and Hawaii have made strides against plastic. Even Sri Lanka's World Cup jersey is made up of recycled plastic waste. And what about the plastic bag, which was founded in 2013 and is packed in plastic by turning it into currency? Corporations like Starbucks and McDonald's have reduced their plastic footprints. Greenpeace organization, the Plastic Pollution Coalition, and other organizations have been fighting against the plastics. If they can, why can't we? Besides many government policies in India, there are many more initiatives taken. Akshar School in Guwahati accepts plastic as its school fees. And then there is First Garbage Camp in Chhattisgarh, under which food is provided to poor in exchange of plastic waste. The Lucknow Development Authority is constructing a road out of plastic waste. And then inmates in Agra jail are making eco-bricks out of plastic. And a mechanical engineer from Hyderabad has done wonders of creating petrol out of plastic. And so on. To those who are strongly against my views, I would like to give them a very recent example of COVID-19. No one had ever thought that the world will ever shut down. It was never predicted, but it still happened because it was need of the time. The upcoming generations are educated and know the value of healthy environment. Even we as students have power to make anything and everything possible. The change will have to come as it starts with us. Now, here I rest my case with famous lines by Audrey Hepburn. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible. Thank you.
Very well spoken. I request the interjector from Team Arya Narayan to come forward.
Dear Speaker, that was almost convincing, but I think it lacked a piece. Let's say we managed to address the issue of plastic superficially, but the phenomena of biomagnification and eutrophication still remain a lurking threat, resulting in harmful algal blooms, imbalanced mineral content, and hypoxic waters. Both of them are completely biological processes and cannot be tampered with externally. How then can we address this issue and prevent these phenomena from ruining marine life?
Thank you for the question, dear. Well, on my way back from conference room to the auditorium, I saw a quote. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step of one. Sorry, that is wrong. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step of one, and that is what we have taken many measures, and fortunately, we are achieving them. But there are people who live in past and stress on what it was rather than what they could do for the future. Unfortunately, they prefer to see the empty glass of water instead of half full. Let me give you an example. Before 1850s, no one had ever thought of a device called mobile phones. But there was someone, but look, here we are in the era of mobile phones, but there was someone at that time who had hoped of it. But now I am hoping that very soon the world will be free of plastics, and I believe in it. Thank you so much, and have a marvelous day.
Thank you, very well spoken. Now it's time for our 17th Team Sarojini Naidu. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to kindly come upon the stage. I request the speaker to kindly speak only when I say the word now. And the time starts now.
What if I told you that the plastic bottles provided to you could potentially be the reason that microplastics have been found in the placentas of newborn babies today, and even our lungs, kidneys, and bloodstreams? We are essentially consuming as much plastic as we expel. This is the reality of the world we live in, where plastic has consumed our entire being. Good morning, honorable judges and my worthy opponents. I firmly believe that by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in our seas. Before diving into the failure of mankind in combating this issue, I'd like to tell you that this topic is indeed a fact and not a myth. In the last 10 years, we have produced more plastic products than in the previous century combined. The EPA has stated that about 100% of all plastics ever created are still in existence. Plastic waste makes up 80% of all marine pollution. And currently, there are about 60 trillion pieces of plastics and microplastics in the ocean. It has even been found in the deepest ocean trenches, which are humanly impossible to reach. And you still want to know the impact. If you haven't seen a turtle strangled by plastic straws and fishing nets, you're clearly living under a rock. Microplastics have entered the food chain, causing harm to marine life and leading to health issues in humans, such as obesity, cardiovascular issues, infertility, and learning disabilities. Quoting the Hindu, fishermen in Mumbai end up with several kilos of plastic waste in their fishing nets. It is evident that the plastic used to empower businesses may very well lead to their downfall. Moreover, scientific research itself tells us that the ocean is expected to contain 1 ton of plastic for every 3 tons of fish by 2025, and by 2050, more plastics than fish by weight. And yet you ask, what is the impact of plastic pollution? 0.1 million tons of debris, including plastic deposited around Chennai's coast in 2015. 26,000 tons of plastic COVID waste accumulated in our oceans, all because of the mismanagement of plastics. If world leaders had worked efficiently towards plastic pollution before COVID-19, we wouldn't have seen such a setback in our fight against the plastic pandemic. How can we expect all the countries in the world to join hands when countries like Russia and Ukraine come to war, Sri Lanka drowns in international debt, and violent protests erupt over government schemes? We require global coordination and global revolution to see even the slightest
The real evil is the plastic present right before our eyes. It is humiliating to see that every minute one garbage truck of ocean plastic waste enters our oceans. The ocean needs our help. And it is due time to unite us for once. We must not wait for focus on consumerism or feed our selfish needs. I believe change is possible. But at the current rate, change by 2050 is an illusion. I'd like to rest my case with the following approach. Individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I request the individual from Team Ruskin want to put forth the question.
G.B. Shaw famously quoted, and I too, beware of false knowledge. It is more harmful than ignorance. So my question to you here is, since our whole topic revolves around prediction, why don't you think that the alternatives of plastic would become better in a matter of time?
Thank you for your question. The evidence is incontrovertible. We are at the cusp of unprecedented and catastrophic global changes. Alternatives may seem like a possible solution, but at what cost? In 2021, India employed over 1 million people in the plastic industry. And, switching to alternatives will only lead to unemployment and leaving 88,000 units bankrupt. Moreover, replacement products will increase the cost of companies by 100 to 300%, which will be passed on to the consumers, that are you and I. Simply put, alternatives are just not economical. I'd like to ask you, do you think poor countries like Ethiopia, Sri Lanka, who are in the middle of economic crisis now and then, do you think that they have the privilege of adopting these changes? Alternatives are not the preeminent solution once we look at all the parameters in play. It's simply not feasible in the present economy. I hope that has answered your question satisfactorily.
I request the audience to give them a big round of applause. Now, I request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Sarojini Naidu to please come forward. Kindly start only after it's said now. And your time starts now.
How did you start your morning today? Let me guess. The first thing you picked was your mobile, or maybe toothpaste, or went straight to the toilet seat. Plastics everywhere. A very good morning to the adjudicators and my worthy opponents. Today, I, the speaker of Team Sarojini Naidu, will stand the motion. By 2050, there could be more plastics than fish in our seas. It was to save trees that we switched to plastics. And since then, a range of them have proved to be an integral part of our lives. There you go, the plastic bottles on the judge's table, phones, cars, injections, oxygen masks. I think we all are aware of its importance today. We cannot entirely rule out plastics from our lives. Therefore, I say, let's try to better understand it, rather than simply bash it or later open the Pandora's box. If you think it's a problem, then recycling, I say, is the solution. Plastics are like chalk and cheese. Just having the basic knowledge of the 7 types of recycling codes is critical to understand upcycling. Awareness level today is ample, as every 5th or 6th social media lead talks about alternatives and answers. Youth in today's era is informed and responsible. For facts, the coming of Greta Thunberg in the activist domain has shaken up the whole world. Recycling is an eco-friendly and profitably the most preeminent method to combat oceanic waste. recyclers. Political parties spend crores on just elections and freebies, whereas setting up a recycling industry merely takes 7 to 10 lakhs. I think it's the best bargain. As the upcoming policy makers, it is in our hands to pave the way towards sustainable living. Start small, for change begins at home. An example, in this protein-conscious world, practicing aquaculture or a small change of turning vegan is one way of saving the fish. Invention of plastic-eating bug is a milestone. Marine plastics were used in the Mangalyaan spacecraft, highlighted in the sci-fi drama Mission Mangal. Incorporation of plastic waste by big shots like Adidas and Apple. Recycling is a fad in brickmaking, road-making, clothes, furniture, gadgets, toys, and what not. Nationally, the ban of SUVs from July 1st and the total ban of polybags have led to revolutionary changes. Universally, working together with global coordination towards this issue, just the way we did in COVID times, can lead to mind-boggling results by 2015. United, we can make it happen. Miracles do not happen overnight, but by 2050, I assure you that we will witness a positive colossal swap. One man, Afroz Shah, is credited for the largest beach cleanup till date at Warsaw by UNEP. Just one man. Thank you.
Thank you. I now request the interjector from Team Wrestling Board to kindly put forward the question.
In Nazi Germany, a law of propaganda used to be followed. It said, repeat a lie often enough, it becomes a truth. Don't behave like a Frenchman. Why do you think a thin line mobiles will be replaced by such biodegradable material?
My dear friend has asked a wonderful question, which will further amplify my stand against the motion. 28 years, that is almost 3 decades, is a gift to us. The ideology that impossible can be perceived as I am possible showcases the very fact that nothing is impossible, especially with the fast-growing technology and the innovative ideas of the skyrocketing startups. It is time for a paradigm shift, both on individual as well as global levels. Be it by the Eco-Baba, the internet sensation, the steps taken by UNEA, the Great Pacific Patch Cleanup, or the largest ocean cleanup project. It is time to put the 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse and recycle, to genuine practice. Be the change you want to see, the sea change. I hope this satisfies your question. Thank you.
Audience are requested to pay their keen attention to the participants and give them a thunderous applause. It is now time for the 8th team, Team Shakespeare. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to kindly express his views. The speaker must start speaking when I say now. And your time starts now.
Not only are plastics polluting our oceans and waterways and killing marine life, it's in all of us and we can't escape consuming plastics. With this quote by Marco Lamborghini, I extend my greetings to the esteemed panel of judges and the august gathering. I stand here to vehemently support the motion. Human civilizations have been around for 12,000 years, barely a few seconds on the geological clock. And we, the human civilizations, have managed to create a ruckus in this short time, etching our dominance with nature. My dear audience, I implore you all not to feel that I'm trying to frighten you.
The amount of plastic trash that flows into the oceans every year is expected to nearly triple by 2040 to 29 million metric tons. Because of it, the fisheries will eventually get depleted by 2050. My dear opponents, the journey of plastic floating through lakes and rivers and reaching the seas add to the plastic waste being deposited here. Alas, plastics and fish have become partners in survival. Honorable judges, the modern world is full of insecurities and has become single-minded and selfish. The world says, you have needs, satisfy them. It's like saying, let the world go to hell, but I should have my tea. Today the planet is ailing, and one major cause is the dumping of non-degradable waste into the seas. Water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Water, water everywhere, the beauty of the seas to become extinct. Wake up, humanity! Wake up, or it shall be.
Request the interjector from Team Sarojini Naidu to put forward their question.
That was an incredible speech delivered by you, my friend. But I would like to add, if you can't recycle or reuse, then quickly refuse. Plastic, definitely the most used substance in our daily life, the use of which has become inevitable. Have you ever wondered as to where it goes? The answer to that is the oceans. Multiple schemes and programs are going on to stop that. And the garbage already present in our oceans is getting cleaned every single month because of public funded organizations. Every year, over 25% of the plastic produced is being recycled. What makes you claim that there will be more plastic in our oceans than fishes by 2050 when continuous advancements are bringing about positive outcomes?
Could you please repeat your question?
That was an excellent speech delivered to you by my friend. But I would like to add, if you can't recycle or reuse, then quickly refuse. Plastic, definitely the most used substance in our daily life, the use of which has become inevitable. Have you ever wondered as to where it goes? The answer to that is the oceans. Multiple programs and schemes are going on to stop that. And the garbage already present in our oceans is getting cleaned every single month because of public funded organizations. What makes you claim that there will be more plastic in our oceans than fishes by 2050 when continuous advancements are bringing about positive outcomes?
First of all, I would like to thank you for your question. And you said that you will refuse plastic. But till what extent? The bottles on the judge's table, the bottles there, plastic is everywhere. Till what extent will you refuse plastic when there is no other material which can match plastic in cost effectiveness ratio? And about the public funds that you're talking about, using public funds to clean plastic is like cleaning the tap, water spill, but the tap is still on. We can't solve all the problems till we solve the severe dependency on plastic. And I hope I satisfied you with the question. Answer, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's time for the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Shakespeare to come forward. The speaker is requested to start speaking when I say now. And your time starts now.
You shall fight not only in India, you should fight all over the world. You should fight on the seas and oceans, on the rivers and lakes. You should fight on and never rest, never surrender. Greetings to the most venerable jury and learned audience. I stand before you to speak in this debate with emotion. Before I begin, I cannot help but wonder why precisely is it that the opposition is so pessimistic about the situation? Perhaps it is plain ignorance or misinterpretation of the empirical evidence at hand, or perhaps it is a refusal to the honest improvements being made in the battle against plastic waste. But I digress. Dear honorable souls, let me enlighten you that the origin of the second thing of the motion lies in the 2016 report presented to the World Economic Forum by Clement. However, unfortunately for our opposition, the 2050 forecast report was really just a rough calculation based on
sum of educated guesses. The question of how many fish and plastics on the sum of educated guesses. The question of how many fish and plastics might already be in the ocean was answered by looking for unverifiable numbers in the dark, a complete and utter violation of the scientific method. Also added is the fact that more than 80% of the ocean has never been mapped, explored, or even seen by humans, and we quickly realize how the outrageous claim by the opposing company is. Now that it has been made clear that the claims based on the present statistical data by the opposition is at best on shaky grounds, the time is right for us to begin talking about improvements are making and can make in technology in our own lives. Ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't already convinced, you will find yourself go from disagree, agree that the fish will definitely outnumber the trash down the bodies. Let me begin first with perhaps the most important technological advancement in recent years. A number of studies reported that several microorganisms and enzymes are capable of degrading synthetic plastic, coming up with the revolutionary solution to the following question. Second, we can spread awareness to documentaries like Plastic Ocean, Plastic Island, which I, you, and each one of us in this group supports. Third, we ought to work with the use of single-use plastics. I am positive that each one of you here are aware of bamboo, metal, and paper straws which act as excellent alternatives to plastic ones. Fourth, we ought to carry our own grocery cards. The saying goes, carry a bag, not a carry. Fifth, thousands of people all over the world put plastic to innovative and creative uses such as wallpapers, pen stands, decorative items, and the list goes on to infinity. YouTube and the internet can act as excellent sources for learning the art of making treasure out of trash. Last but not the least, various governments and NGOs like scrap, paper mat, plastics for chains, etc. have come up with alternatives to heal the world and make it a better place for you, for me, the entire race. All judgment by PDD that men eat and gain their reason and put the non-biodegradable plastics in the coffin and let the planter's crops be closed forever and ever. And for the dolphins to make somersaults, whales to sail like serpentines, seagulls to dive and soar up in the blue skies, and this is be our one star. Allow me to take you deep, ladies and gentlemen. Very PDD. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. I now request the interjector from Team Sarojini Naidu to put forward the question.
My dear friend, delivered an immaculate speech, but I would like to add to your knowledge. 28 years have the time we expect our oceans to get cleaned in. 149 million square miles or 361 million square kilometers, which is 71% of the Earth's surface, has more than 150 million tons of plastics in it. In the last 3 decades, plastic production has gone up by 60%. That is 4.2 billion tons of plastic produced in just 30 years. And 89% of it has not been recycled. It's practically a plastic soup which is being made for uncountable people. How are you planning to clean this unhealthy curry in just 28 years? And even if we stop the production of plastic, is this limited time enough for you to clean this bowl?
Thank you for your question, dear interjector. Allow me to first correct you in your assertion that the amount of plastic that exists in the ocean does in fact exist in the ocean because, as I said before, it is impossible to find out the amount of plastics that already exists, simply because the vast majority of the area, square kilometers that the oceans cover, Earth. Secondly, sir, as I've already mentioned, various technologies and blockchains that have started to clean the oceans from plastic waste. I hope that satisfies your question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well expressed. I request the audience to give them a big round of applause. And now it's time for Team Sportsbook. I request the speaker speaking in favor of the motion to kindly come forward.
Yes.
The participant is requested to kindly start only when I say now.
And your time starts now.
The perpetual cadence of the vast sea stirs a restless desire that engulfs me. The plastic that settles within its reaches, the plight of its children, makes my heart beat. The seagull's cry seems to haunt me, and my mind goes numb while seeing the mighty Galapagos succumb. Good morning, respected judges, my worthy opponents. Today, I am here to narrate my views on the topic, by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in the sea, which I would humbly like to change to, by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the sea. The sea's waves seems to conspire as they rumble ashore in patient haste, just to return some of our copious waste. Plastic, which was earlier believed to be the best milestone mankind has achieved, is now becoming our own undoing. Every year, we produce and discard more than 5 trillion single-use plastics, which, yes, you guessed right, ends up in the deep blue sea. My opponents are proudly advocating the various new techniques like plastic-eating enzymes, genetically engineered microorganisms, and plastic-degrading chemicals. To them, I want to emphasize the tendency of human, known as greed and overpromising. Sure, there are new techniques invented every couple of years, but the rate at which they prove to be helpful is just like a wooden log that missed an entire sea. We, the progressive species who believe in science and technologies, are nowadays gaining a whole lot more towards the whole self-healing property of Earth, and blatantly ignoring the fact that it takes more than 1,000 years for plastic to degrade naturally. And do we honestly think we can prevent plastic from going into the sea that is prevailing rate? My opponents unanimously declared yes. But wait, I am here to open your eyes with facts rather than bold promises. Approximately 7.2 billion tons of plastic out of 9 billion tons, which was produced between 1950 to 2000, is now considered at risk. And during this half a century, we have signed more than 38 environmental pollution prevention treaties, out of which 14 were regarding marine conservation and protection. Now, I'm sure my learned and well-educated opponents will find the way on which humanity performs. Well, okay, let's be optimistic for a minute. Even if these technologies are deployed at a global scale, they will still face major limitations. For example, the golden jewel of my opponent's defense, plastic-eating enzymes, which can only degrade PET, which is only a single out of 7 major types of plastic we use daily in our day-to-day life. And these bacteria can only degrade it into its monomeric form, which is then again used to make more plastic. So all in all, bacteria can neither number 5 kinds of plastic nor degrade it to its core non-pollutant forms. My opponents are also singing praises of the genetically engineered microorganisms as an admirable way to counter plastic. But they pose a grave danger as we just cannot let them run wild in our ecosystem. So it is basically like a sword hanging on our head. And I just can't emphasize this enough that it is not a minor conflict, but a long-drawn battle for our survival. We may not see results as quickly as we would expect, but we need to bear the burden, so that the future generations don't have to shoulder it and organize debates on topics like by 2150, there could be more plastic than matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I request the interjector from Team Shakespeare to kindly put forward their question.
Dear Speaker, you are supporting a bold declaration, but out of 7 types of plastic, only 2 are non-biodegradable. And for these 2, we have still the AI, space, satellite imaging, and machine learning, which are collecting 7,000 metric tons each minute. With so many technologies in hand and more to arrive in, how can we be so sure and state that there will be more plastic by 2050?
Thank you for your question. But I think you missed some points which I used in my arguments, like that it is not a minor conflict but a long-drawn battle. And in spite of the ban on single-use plastics, India itself produces more than 5 million single-use plastic, which ends up in the sea. So how can you say by 2050 we can outnumber the fish, outnumber the plastic? Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, very beautifully expressed. Now I request the speaker speaking against the motion from Team Sportsboard to kindly come forward. You are requested to kindly start answering now. And your time starts now.
History is beyond language. The faraway force of the moon that draw the tide again down. In a vivid metaphor for the passionate kinship of elements that stir across the infinite distance. The word sea is too small in its such fine divinity. The divinity that promises abundant life, the vision of which is being subverted to our own creation, plastic. A very warm good morning to everyone present here. I stand before you all today to speak against the gig motion. Once considered a miracle material, plastic has now grown into an unnatural disaster, defouling the most precious resource of this planet. To understand the figure, if all the plastic circulating in the ocean were to be stacked together, it would fabricate a mountain as high as 1,500 meters, that is roughly 1/6 the size of Mount Everest. However, the humankind at length has started to become more vigilant, considering the monstrous scale of this holocaust. On an average, a fish can lay thousands of eggs alongside billions of such creatures in the ocean. And according to the NOAA, there is 2 pounds of plastic per cubic mile of water. But the number of fishes has to be far more than the statistic, otherwise the lavish restaurants wouldn't have seafood on the menu. Therefore, it is presumptuous to say that plastic would outnumber the fish. Though the urge to decrease the current quantity of pelagic debris stands solid, the solution being bipartisan. We need to withdraw the plastic already circulating in the ocean, but also hinder the continuous flow of more into it. To accelerate this universal action, organizations spotted a paramount role. Notable among such is the Ocean Peace. They have raised $35 million to clean the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, stretching from the Philippine Sea to the Gulf of Alaska. They also aim to reach 90% reduction in the world's floating plastic by 2040. The sea has been perceived as a bottomless source of profuse opportunities, reflecting how multinational startups have plumbed out the gauntlet with new employment opportunities ready to be served. What's more, studies show that 60% of the world's plastic comes from 5 countries. Topping the list is Philippines, where plastic has now been prohibited by the concerned authorities. In India, the taxation on plastic products hoisted to 18% in the new GST regime has propelled the enterprise forward. Something as small as the flutter of a butterfly wing can cause a typhoon halfway around the world. Those typhoons being aligned with such unembellished ideas. As proof, we have the ocean wheel. It is a search engine, but for every 5 searches, they recover 1 ocean-bound plastic. And the Kerala-based Random Sun, which launched Edward Cutlery as an excellent alternative considering the ban on single-use plastic by the Indian government on July, a massive human chain around the St. in Hyderabad with a message "Save Lakes" on July 2nd, 2018. Another supreme example being the anecdote of river Thames flowing into the North Sea, how it went from being biologically dead to one of the cleanest in the world. Our inputs have shown remarkable results, raising the marine protected areas from 0.9% in the year 2000 to 7.4% now. In conclusion, we know that nature has a tendency to improve. So why making assumptions and hypotheses about the unforeseeable future? This is the puddle of hope we need to victoriously rescue our oceans by 2050. When the deep becomes angry, the fury of its charge against the cliff makes powerful sound, which makes us believe how the ancient Greeks could say that the sea was the god of Poseidon. Thank you.
Thank you. I now request the interpreter from Team Shakespeare to put forth the question.
Dear speaker, the carrying capacity of the earth has reached its limit. The same can be compared to your phone storage. Imagine, you have installed a number of apps, and now to create space in your phone, you have started uninstalling the useless ones. But the same doesn't go with the nature. Dear Speaker, you mentioned ways to reduce plastic, but nothing to restore the initial carrying capacity of the earth. How will you attain that? Initiatives have been started taken all around the world. I heard my worthy opponent say that look at the plastic bottle, everywhere is plastic. Then I say, look at that bottle, turn the bottle around, read the label, and see how it says 100% recycled. And another example, how we people here debating have gathered all around from the country here to serve this cause, to discuss, to spread awareness about how plastic is causing a problem. And if this is not what awareness is, then I don't know what is. India has banned the use of single-use plastic recently on July 1st, 2022. And this is how, even if everyone stands sitting here, even make the smallest of changes, then we as a whole can make such drastic changes and save our children. Thank you.
I now request the audience to give a great round of applause for all of our participants. I thank all the participants for sharing their views. It is indeed an enriching experience. The purpose of a debate is to explore issues and not end them. As we all come down from the high of the heated debate, let us calm down to a yoga performance. Inhale the future, exhale the past. Yoga is not a religion. It is a science of well-being, a science of youthfulness, a science of integrating body, mind, and soul. Yoga teaches us how to listen to our bodies. While we wait for the results, let us experience calmness and tranquility through the performance prepared by our yoga enthusiasts.
केवल ही दूसरी है केवल है वेरी स्लो चार्जिंग मनमानी रखी मैंने चार्जर दे दिया 2% दे दिया वो तो रहना लेकिन स्लो है
तेरे सामने है झुका, मेरे सर पे हाथ रख तेरा।
नहीं हो पा रहा है, वो बहुत 1% हो रही है। 1% वेट कर रहे हैं, चार्जिंग फास्ट की केबल से चार्ज करना है।
Thank you all for the wonderful round. I now request our eminent members of the jury, Dr. Raksha Mishra, Mrs. Pragati Kapoor, and Mrs. Divya Dubey to share their experience and words of wisdom with the audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. The SO Education, Bindu ma'am, Vice Principal, whoever is left in the hall, and participants. I'll begin with the first, that it's very nostalgic for me. I was here in 2002 or somewhere. I was teaching English here. So for me, it was like homecoming. But where to start, you guys? My God, are so good. I was guilty of drinking. I was guilty of drinking water through that bottle. Seriously. But sorry. Till we find a solution, this is it. So fantastic, fantastic. The standard of army schools have gone up. And Bindu ma'am and her team, my God, from the way I stepped in, everything is flawless, right from the arrangement, everything is like it's going, fabulous, and I'm so proud of being part of this alumni, and thank you so much for inviting me, my God, enjoyed every moment, thanks so much, God bless.
Rashi ma'am, please come up on the stage and say a few words.
A very good morning, very good afternoon, and thank you so much. First of all, I'm really thankful from the core of my heart to Dr. Bindu Sharma, the principal. Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me. It's such a pleasure. It's my first trip to this school. Quite memorable. Would like to, come again and again. And like ma'am has already said, it's terrific arrangement. Before actually I talk something about the issue or the topic or whatever the performance was, I must say that all of you, right from Jane Austen to our Sarojini Naidu to Shakespeare to Arthur and every one of you rocked. Actually, you did perform very well, very confidently. We listened to you and we learned a lot. In fact, I learned a lot, and I was actually noting down a few points where I felt like, yes, these things need to be remembered for life. So, yeah, I would like to say something on that. First of all, I think we are in a hurry. We were in a hurry, we are in a hurry. जल्दी में काफी जल्दी में and this has started, and I'm not going very long back, but right from the independence we were in hurry to develop, and industrialization concept soon after that in second 5 years plan in 1952 when planning commission actually under the chairmanship of PC Malu is decided go for development or rapid industrialization so that we can be countable as developed or say little developing industry or country particularly. So in this way, we were always in hurry, and gradually, of course, we were not used to plastic. We were not, very much using plastic that time. We were more confined to our own way of handling things. But sooner this, 90s came, when LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization came, in our life, we started using plastic like anything. And some of you, mentioned about mobile phones and everything. I must say that this is alarming. E-waste is alarming in coming up, days and say years. It would be a real threat for us, for all of us. But see, after that, 90s and all that, this COVID came all of a sudden, and it taught us a lot of things. What we actually did in COVID, what basic things we were, taking. We were like, we stopped going out. No, actually we were going out, but with lots of precautions, putting masks, and then we were thinking, is it actually needed for us to go out? Then we'll go out. That was the mindset that time. So, in that particular phase, when we were actually questioning and answering ourselves, actually we were trying to save our, environment. That was the fabulous time for our oceans, for our environment, our surroundings, our planet. I mean, it was breathing and we were breathing inside. So that was a beautiful phenomenon, and it was required for all of us to, learn so much from COVID phase. So, in fact, I think one of you said about or talked about Mahatma Gandhi, or two of you, if I'm not wrong, talked about be the change you want to see. So, I would like to add here that Mahatma Gandhi did say that there is always enough for everyone's need, but not greed. So when you were talking about, lots of campaigns and everything which are actually right from Namami Ganga to many more upcoming. See, campaigns come and go. Of course, some exist forever, but at least, you should plan your own campaign at your own individual level rather than relying on some government people come and will teach you how to take care of your environment, how to take care of your dustbin, where to throw kachra. I mean, don't rely on other ways. You are self-sufficient. You know so much about oceans. You know so much about plastic. You know so much about environment. So it's like why to rely on others to teach you. Just think about yourself. कैसे कर सकते हैं, कैसे बचा सकते हैं? Because every single thing you do in your life, it affects your environment. And environment doesn't confine, that to trees and forests and everything. But even if you're thinking something, it affects your mindset. It might give you a sleepless night. That is affecting you, your environment. Similarly, everything you do, you are affecting the environment, the surroundings, and ultimately the planet is affecting. So we need to save our planet. That's the major goal. I mean, जितने भी आपने 17 development goals का बात किया है, that actually somewhere rely on the entire planet. That we have to save that planet. One more thing, some student talked about miracles doesn't happen overnight, but it might happen, overnight. If we actually think about it, miracles तो होते ही हैं एकदम से अचानक से. So you need to think over that how can we actually, go for that. Plus, yeah, I think there were so many points, but I'm not going into each and everything. But yes, it was indeed beautiful listening all of you. And Rachel Carson, you must have heard the name of that lady. Some good day she was reading a newspaper, and there she read about DDTs. DDT is affecting our surroundings and in the environment. And there she started writing, and she came up with a book called Silent Spring. And that book actually it became a revolutionary step in the field of environmental communication. People started relying on this particular subject, environmental communication. So what you were doing today is actually communicating that environment to save. So that's what started long back in 72, and still we are after so many years, decades, and still we are discussing this same thing. So, like you said that yes, fishes are there, and plastic would be replacing fishes, but fishes are live. उसमें उनमें जान है, and we can replace dead things with that. No, we cannot. So let the fish rest in the ocean. Don't take the fish out, and probably in majority when you fight with plastic, provided we also take care of not using plastic. And like one of you said that we cannot actually, stop using plastic because it is unfortunately need of the hour. Although I was scared, I stopped myself drinking water from that bottle, but definitely we do it often in our daily life. So that's one of the things which you talked about. Particularly, when you buy some fruity or Tropicana or maybe real juice, you get that straw. That is very dangerous plastic. So avoid that. Try to use, or maybe you just pour it in your, say, glass and then drink it. Or maybe try to think over some better option. But all in all, I'm really thankful, to meet such a wonderful judges and Pragati ma'am and Divya ma'am. Terrific. I'm really blessed to have such a kind of atmosphere and ambience. And as far as my journey, it started long back in 2002, and since then I have been into academics and trying my level best to at least do some introspection and come out with some fine research. So thank you very much. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Divya ma'am, please share your experience with us.
Awesome good afternoon to each one of you here and all those empty chairs. Unko bhi awesome good afternoon. Right? First of all, I have to ask Bindu ma'am and every teacher present here या फिर जितने लोग जो इसके साथ जुड़े हुए थे, the students, the staff, teachers, कैसे करते हो यार? How do you do it? This is amazing. This is beautiful. Okay, so before I begin, I won't take too many words because all the words were taken already. But every word was worth it, and we created that bonding. All the James present here were amazing. All the hostels too were too good. And when we talk about people like Sarojini Naidu and R.K. Narayan, they've been my favorite. They've actually been examples to all of you. So, talking about coming back to the debate, you know the importance of a debate in a school. You know, I've seen many students sitting here, and for them it would be something like, you know, for some of them, कुछ ऐसा था कि कुछ एक compulsory activity थी as an audience reacts, right? But people like you or people like them will say that it is an activity that they learn. This you would only get in school. Right? And you are fortunate that you're getting a chance to stand on the stage and speak. You know how much courage it takes to be here? I've been into training for competitions, and whenever I see students, they clear a competition. But when it comes for interviews, when it comes for group discussions, they would not be confident at all because they always come up with one thing, ma'am, I have a stage fear, I have a public speaking fear, you know, all that stuff. So all the students who have not participated in a debate yet or so far, please come forward, talk to your teachers and tell them that I want to be a part. Because once you're here, you know you'll be a transformed person, which the difference you can feel. Right? Now let's talk about the debate. You know, we the judge, and I guess how Pragati ma'am said, we were guilty sitting there because as वो जज वाली जो क्वेश्चन होती है वो एक टेम्परेरी चीज है हम यहाँ हमारे को आपको सुनने का मौका मिल रहा है चिल्ड्रन शुड नेवर बी जज्ड एनी परफॉर्मेंस शुड नेवर बी जज्ड पर क्या करें कंपटीशन है तो कहीं ना कहीं किसी को ज्यादा मार्क्स मिलेंगे किसी को कम बट एक ओवरऑल इफ आई हैव टू टेल यू ऑल ऑफ यू हैव टू प्ले एंड ऑल द ऑडियंस हैव टू प्ले बिकॉज़ ऑडियंस के पास बहुत सारे रिबटल्स थे आई एम श्योर दे वुड बी हैविंग लॉट ऑफ रिबटल्स दे वुड बी हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. While talking on this, before I get started with this, I had a question to Bindu ma'am, and since I'm very open to her, we're very good friends, I had the audacity to ask her that, ma'am, why this topic? Seriously, why this topic? Because this is a rhetorical topic, isn't it? You know the answer was yes. And then she said, because this is something to invoke awareness. That this may be, and it also is an awareness of what are we going to do for this. And seriously, I'm not as guilty because I know I've been doing my part. I'm doing my Pura separately. I'm doing the Dila Pura separate. I'm not buying any plastic. Not not using plastic. Many use okay. So, excuse me for that. I didn't use that plastic bottle, right? मगर वो रिसाइक्लेबल है क्रश करके बॉटल टाइट करके आप उसे फेंकोगे तो वो बॉटल उसके अंदर कवर जो बॉटल का कवर है ना बॉटल के अंदर डाल के क्रश के डालोगे इट इज गुड मगर उसके अंदर कुछ और डाल दोगे गीला कर दोगे गीले कचरे के साथ रख दोगे तो फिर वो रिसाइक्लेबल नहीं होगा यस ब्रिक एंड a lot of things can be made plus I have been associated with a number of NGOs and you know what we've done with these bottles छोटे छोटे रैपर्स जो होते हैं आपके टॉफी रैपर्स और जैसे नाने का स्ट्रॉज होती है जो कूड़ा आपके पास है आप अपनी बॉटल में भरते जाए ठीक है फिर स्टार्ट करेंगे बॉटल बॉटल बिकम्स वेरी टाइट एंड एज टाइट आप मसूरी की तरफ अगर जाएंगे भट्टा गांव के पास तो दे मेड अ वॉल ऑफ दीस प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स फिल्ड विद प्लास्टिक रैपर्स यू मस्ट विजिट दैट राइट यू मस्ट विजिट दैट प्लस नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस जापान में कूड़ा है ही नहीं ना कूड़े लाने बिकॉज वो हमसे भी बहुत आगे है वो कह रहे हैं हम प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रहे हैं ठीक है मगर क्या करें हमें कोक की बोतल देखती है तो हमें अच्छी लगती है पीनी तो है talking to the chips, the Lays and other companies to say to have this, जैसे vending machines होती है, we can have chips vending machines. Don't you think that would be a better idea? Because सबसे ज़्यादा जो कूड़ा है ocean में वो wrappers का है और वो भी chips wrappers का, right? So you can start with that campaign. I'm sure Greta Thunberg, I have two views about her because जो भी इसके बारे में पढ़ते हैं, they have two views about her. So I will not say Greta Thunberg. There is another girl. I'm forgetting her name. She's from some northeastern part, Mizoram की करती है, India की, the youngest environmentalist. Please उसके बारे में पढ़ना and read about her. Okay. So this can go on and on because environment is one topic. Being a Dunai, we've seen our city going completely down to kachra, but if Indore can do it, we can do it too. Right? So very very hopeful. Plus, now understand this. एक दो चीजें जो मैं आपको बताती हूँ डिबेट में. मैंने बहुत देखा कि बहुत बच्चे रटकर आते हैं जो बिल्कुल सही है क्योंकि आपको अपनी स्पीच रखनी पड़ती है ना. अब इस लेवल के बाद इम्प्रॉम्प्टू बोलने का कोशिश करो. Try to learn impromptu. Have 5 points in your mind and do that impromptu. Right? If यहाँ पर एक debate था, I don't want to mention, but there was something like, you come to know, then there is someone is asking you, can you say that question again? So you have to understand what is the intent behind the gentleman asking you to ask the question. That doesn't mean that the gentleman hasn't heard the question. It was a kind of provoking you to come back to it. Right? Don't be too robotic. This is how it is. Debate में we get to be too robotic. This is how it is and all that. No. अपनी subtle way में बात करिए. आप firm रह के soft रह के भी अपनी बात कह सकते हो, जो काफी मैंने यहाँ कही थी. ठीक है? See, everything is a process of learning. Like ma'am said, we learn from you. ये also हम सब तो evolve हो रहे. That's why it's called personality development. हम develop हो रहे, right? But I'm sure you would go back. This lot would go back with this thought that yes, I think the last participant said something. He can. We've been doing it, right? चल भी रहा है. मुझे भी जज कर लो. Now you can judge me, right? So can we? इतनी धीमी आवाज में तुम लोग तो for and against बात करते थे. Can we? Your promise? Perfect. लग नहीं रहा वैसे बहुत ही ज़्यादा एनर्जी में डाउन हो चुके हो. But you have refreshments waiting for you afterwards. Ma'am, you have refreshments. And thank you so much each one of you for giving us this opportunity on behalf of Rashi ma'am and Pragati ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now I request our Honorable Principal Ma'am, Dr. Bindu Sharma, to kindly present with the mementos to our esteemed judges, Dr. Asha Mishra, Mrs. Pragati Kapoor, and Ms. Dilip. Request Vice Principal Ma'am to be on the stage.
Thank you.
बहुत जल्दी है, सही बहुत है.
Big hand for the judges.
the representatives to kindly come up on the stage for a group photograph. All the participating teams with one of the representatives. Please be on the stage.
आगे की रोड नीचे बिठा दो आगे की रोड से नीचे बिठा दो
Thank you all. The link for downloading the group photograph will be provided to you, and you can also watch yourself in our school's website in YouTube where the whole event has been live streamed. I repeat, the link for downloading the group photograph will be provided to you, and this whole event has been live streamed from our YouTube channel. You all can go and watch yourself there. Thank you.
ये पूरा यूट्यूब पे ही हुआ ना लाइव चल रहा था पूछ ले कभी तो मुझे पता है कि वो मैं इतना अच्छे से ड्रेस पहन के आता स्टाइल देखता उनकी बात में नहीं है।
The much awaited moment is now here. Any guesses about the winners? Any guesses? Any favorites from your participants? Let's find out. To cut the suspense, without any further ado, I now request our honorable principal ma'am, Dr. Vinder Sharma, to kindly come upon the stage and announce the results of today's competition.
Awesome afternoon to the August gathering. The toughest job has been given to me, right? But before I actually declare the result, because I was listening to all the judges, but before that also, awesome afternoon to all the escort teachers who have come with the teams, all the students who are part of this mega event, I would say. And along with that, the revered judges who have done their job exceptionally well. I just listened to everyone, the speakers also, and it was like, what is left for me to speak now? Because every point has been very well taken and given by all the judges. I would just say one thing. If you are representing your school, having a strength of maybe 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 3,000 plus, you're already a winner. So this result is not going to make a difference, isn't it? So for us, if you are a representative of your respective schools, so we have all the winners out here. And for me, before I actually declare the result, I would just say that when you are going from here, as ma'am has already said, there has to be some takeaway. It has to be, few takeaways have to be there. And what I was listening to them and I was writing my points also, I would just say one thing, practice what you advocated. Especially the people who talked about no use of plastic, right? Second thing, be the change drivers. You are the young generation, we are not the ones who are going to bring about a change. We can just motivate you. We can be a push that we can give you. We can stand you. Wherever you fall, we can hold your hand until you come back. But when it comes for an actual change, you have to be the change drivers. As ma'am rightly said, that it is environmental communication. So it should not end up in the auditorium of APS Clement Tower, isn't it? We have deliberately taken this as the topic because it is in sync with our SDG goals. Because that is what is the theme of the school. So we look at that when you go back home, there should be more deliberations and we should come up with what man said, something concrete. And this is what I look at because it's not about you belong to which APS. Maybe it is A, B, C, D, E, any till Z. But for us, we are all Axians. So we are all siblings, we are all a community. And when we are talking about APS coming under AWS flagship, that means we have or we own a responsibility. And that is what we look at from all these young budding speakers, the people who are performing the duties and all. And I would like to compliment my team also, big hand for them also, because my students, maybe they were the escorts, they were the ambassadors, maybe the people who were, they had taken charge of this stage also. So everything was, I suppose, as per my expectation, they have done more than what I expected. So love them all, but now coming to the thing and the purpose why I am here. So it was very tough decision. I think it was very, very tough for the judges to decide that who would be the winner. But then also I have the sheet. I would be doing the coding and the uncoding right now. And for best speaker, any guesses? For best speaker I would be coming up with the team first, then I would be coming up with the name of the APS, and then I will be calling out the name of the participant. So, the best speaker, so we don't have now that tuck, 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 5, 4, 3, 1, that tuck, because that also gave a lot of pressure. So, anyway, coming to for best speaker for the motion, we have R.K. Narayan team, APS Allahabad, Manya Das with 260.5 points. And I could hear at the back also, Narayan, so that means it's good when they the judgment. Then for best speaker against the motion, congratulations Manya dear. Best speaker against the motion, we have team Wordsworth, Muskan with 259 points. So it's just a difference of 1.5. And for the best, congratulations dear once again. Best interjector we have, the team is Jane Austen, APS Hyderabad. Sona Karma with 52 points, because the interjectors have been rated out of 60, so you have 52 points. And now, I will go by the guesses now. The runners-up team. Which team do we expect to be the winner? Okay, runners-up. So we have the teams Wordsworth with 520.5, whereas we have the winning team as team R.K. Narayan with 546 points. So happy congratulations to all the winners, all the mentors that come all the way from Nagpur, Allahabad, and all the other mentors as well as the sport teachers, and all the very best. And may, as I've been telling you from yesterday only, may the best wins. So it is the same, but nevertheless, don't lose your heart. As I've already said, you all are winners. So thank you, God bless you, and have a wonderful stay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. No one who achieves success does so without acknowledging the help of others. The wise and the confident acknowledge this help with gratitude. On behalf of Army Public School Clement, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to the management for giving us an opportunity for conducting this mega event and for all the support provided from time to time. I would also like to extend an immense gratitude to the esteemed guest of honor, Lieutenant Colonel Kuljeet Sehgal, SO School, for his gracious presence. Your presence made this event a memorable one. I express my sincere thanks to each of the eminent judges who have taken time out of their busy schedule and graced this occasion with their glorious presence. I also extend sincere thanks to all our worthy participants who have enlightened us with their prominent views and became the spotlight for today's event. I express an immense gratitude to our principal ma'am, Dr. Bindu Sharma, and our vice principal ma'am, Mrs. Bhavna Bhargav, who have conceptualized this event for the benefits of students at large. Last but not the least, I also take the opportunity to express heartfelt gratitude to our enthusiastic audience and the team behind the success of this mega event. Thank you.
Different flowers make a beautiful bouquet. Similarly, all our participating teams contributed their best in making this event an immense success. All the APCNs are woven in one thread of unity with the school song. I request our guest of honor, esteemed judges, participants, and the audience to kindly rise for the school song.
that today one discovers what one is capable of and how much more one can be than one ever imagined possible. We sincerely hope that today his time well spent and knowledge will absorb. Thank you for making this event a great success with your midnight presence and enthusiastic participation. With that, the first day of the Inter-Army Public School competition, the English debate ends on a happy note. Before we discuss an important announcement, school team reps of the Hindi debate competition are requested to kindly proceed to the section area for picking the draw floor for tomorrow's competition. The buses are already lined. Kindly proceed to the bus area. I repeat, all the participants are requested to kindly proceed to the bus area. Thank you and good afternoon.